Hey kids, what time is it?
Adventure time!
That's right, and where are we going?
Oak Creek. Oak Creek.
Oak Creek Campsite. We are going to be camping with a bunch of friends. We have several other families going, so we've reserved a group campsite. Real quick before we take off, the time right now is 12:20, and at 12 o'clock we were down to 5%, and so I stopped the Tesla charging from the trailer, and it's already up to 11%. The solar was up at 2200 watts, and it's dropped down. It's kind of partially cloudy today. So we're going to let this charge up, and by the time we get to our campsite this evening, it'll be up many tens of percent more than it is now. And then the fresh tank is currently full. I have filled it up here at home so that we don't have to worry about water at the campground. I'll put a link in the description below to this Save-A-Drop meter. It's actually been really useful to have on hand. I also use it on trips when we're filling up the water tank, like, you know, topping it up to see how much we've used since the last time we filled it up. We can measure how much we're putting in, and when it starts overflowing, then we know it's totally full. As you can see, we're in the truck, and you can see the trailer back here behind us. So once again, this is another RV trip. On this trip, we're going to do a couple of new things we've never done with our RV's electrical system. One is we're going to be cooking waffles for breakfast, and we're going to be using about 8 waffle makers simultaneously. They're small, but we're going to do that and see how that goes with power consumption. And then also we're going to use an ice cream maker, and we're going to power it off of the trailer. That's not going to be very much energy. I've done that with the Tesla. I'll put a card above to that video. In any case, it's just some new fun things that we're going to be trying with the trailer's electrical system. According to Google Maps, we are going to be driving for 1 hour and 44 minutes. We found with towing the trailer, we're always slower than the Google Maps estimate, so it's going to take us a good 2 hours to get there, and it's 99 miles away. Let's get started. Also, as a point of reference right now, you can see the temperature outside is 97 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's going to be a hot trip. It's supposed to be up to about 100 degrees as a high each day that we're there. This camping trip will be our first time staying in a campground. All the times prior, it's always been boondocking on public lands, and we've camped in Washington, in Idaho, in Utah, Colorado, and Arizona, and all of those, or none of those, have been in a campground. We've never had to pay for anything like that. But this one, we're going to be staying with several other families, and they wanted a campground to have services. Some of them are tent camping, etc. So we have a group site reserved. And for all intents and purposes, though, we're taking everything we need with us, water and all the electricity, of course, from our solar panels. And so it's kind of going to be like boondocking again for us, although we'll technically be in a campground. And up to this point, we have actually boondocked, if I'm counting correctly, 56 nights that we've boondocked. And in our trailer, we've never stayed in a campground. We've had it now for a couple of years. We are entering Fishlake National Forest, Oak Creek Campground. That's where we're staying. Fishlake National Forest in Utah is a large grouping of disconnected areas that amount to a total of 1.8 million acres. And we are in the farthest north Fillmore district, just east of Delta, Utah, which is nowhere near Fish Lake. It's an area of Utah we have never explored before, which is nice because I always enjoy seeing new places. We've arrived at our group site. You can see the sign for it right there. And so we have all of this parking available to us all across here. And then it has picnic tables and the fire ring, and it's a good shady area over there. Our trailer is going to need to be parked along here just along with the rest of the vehicles of our group. However, I am slightly regretting having run down the battery in the trailer as much as I did at home. Right now we've got full solar exposure over here, but this is not our campsite. But I just checked the battery in the trailer and it was at 50%. And so I'm actually leaving it here for a little bit longer so that we can get additional charge into the battery before I bring the trailer back over here. And it's just going to be in this shade. And as you can see, we've got a mountain over here on the east side. So morning sun will not get to us for a really long time. And then throughout the entirety of the afternoon, you pretty much have all this wall of trees, which normally is good for shade. But we're going to have limited solar exposure the whole time we're here. Right now we're getting 2100 watts of solar, and the battery has even already charged 3% just in the last few minutes that we've been here. And it's obviously charging now at 1900 watts. So like I said, I'm just going to leave it parked here for the next little bit. This is the water spigot here in our campsite, and there's a sign on the ground here that says do not drink the water. And so this is why I kind of glad that we just filled it up at home, because we're coming to an unknown situation. And generally it's a good idea to just take care of things when you have information that you know you can rely on, like getting water from home, versus just going off into the wild unknown hoping to get whatever resource you need. This campsite has a grill here, and then it has 4 large picnic tables. And then there's this rock wall over here, and that's the amphitheater on the other side. So we just have this area here. The general area that we can park is just right along here. And I think I might park our trailer right here because it's got a little bit more sun that the front solar panels will work on. And you can see here the shade juts out. So maybe we'll park just on that side. But the shade is always moving every day from the direction of the sun. So it's just clearly that will get more sun more quickly than the rest of these sites over this way. Now, for what it's worth, our battery bank is large enough that we could probably go for a couple of days with minimal solar exposure and the amount of electricity that we need, assuming we're not using a lot of air conditioning. Because we have so much shade here, we probably wouldn't. So that's good that the air conditioning and the solar exposure go together. In this case, if we park our trailer here in the shade, then we probably won't need very much air conditioning. Clara found a place to climb up to immediately. All right, be careful.
Yeah, you should climb up. It's a great view.
All right, I'll come check it out. Our truck is right there, and the building is the bathrooms. And there's a stairway back here behind the bathrooms, right to a little stream. The kids are gonna have a great time playing in this. It's always nice having water nearby when you're camping in the summer, and the kids can come and cool down their little bodies. Let's see how cold it is. Huh, yep, that's about as cold as I would expect. It's quite cold, but it's very clear water. I like that. What do you think, Lucy? It is cold, huh? He always loves the water.
I don't know if you guys want some of this water.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cold enough. You'll probably just wade in it and get your feet wet, but not swim in it.
Yeah. Or maybe you could sit in it.
I have finished setting up our trailer as I just outlined, so you can see we've leveled it side to side. We had to bring it up on the right side quite a bit. I've set up my Starlink dish here. The temperature in here is 105 degrees, and it's 97 degrees outside. Our battery's up to 75% now, so we've actually charged 25% since we got here, and it is 4:11 p.m. And another thing I'm going to do right now is turn on the water heater, because we would like to have hot water. And we have good enough solar exposure for the rest of the day, except for the clouds coming and going, which you can see just hit us pretty hard, that I think will be pretty close to being charged today anyway. This is the Starlink speed that we are getting here, 114 megabits per second down and 18 up. That's plenty good for our purposes. I'm happy with that. It is now 8 p.m. and we ended up getting up to 93%, surprisingly, but our solar yield for the day is pretty much gone. I'm now going to turn on the mini split so it'll cool it down in here while we go to sleep. So this is about to drop down a bit. Plus, we have some neighbors that have shown up, and we're going to be plugging in their trailer, electricity for that trailer. And here at 8 p.m. it's 95 inside and 90 degrees outside. And I just turned on the mini split so it feels nice and cool. At least the air coming out of here. It'll take a bit to cool down the trailer. We're filling up an air mattress, and the wattage was at 990 prior to that air pump turning on, and so it just jumped up to 1176. That's how much power the pump is drawing. We spent the rest of the evening hanging out with our friends, eating dinner, doing fun activities, telling stories, stoking the fire, and just hanging out in general. We had 27 people here tonight, and fun was had by all. This is a great campsite for ample table space that's also in the shade, which is great this time of year when the weather is so hot. It's a lot of fun camping with others who also appreciate camping, and the kids had a ton of fun exploring the area. Then, as the darkness descended, the younger kids went to bed, and the older kids stayed up a bit later, poking at the coals and putting on a new log on the fire occasionally, until we all went to bed. It's now the next morning. How did you sleep, girls?
Good.
How was the temperature? Were you too hot or too cold? Good.
Okay.
All right.
That was perfect.
Well, looking at the RV battery, we're down to 49%, and we left the mini split on to 68 degrees Fahrenheit all night. Right now it's showing outside as 64, almost 65 degrees, and inside is 68 degrees. I just barely turned off the mini split a few minutes ago. Today is the morning that we're doing our cooking of waffles for breakfast for the whole group and our experiment to see if our trailer can power up to, I think we have 8 waffle irons. So I just wanted to quickly show you my setup here. Here on the side of the trailer, you're probably familiar with this. This is the battery compartment from the manufacturer of the trailer. And I installed this NEMA 1450 outlet in the trailer, and I use this to charge our Tesla from the trailer on a regular basis when we're at home. And this can output up to 20 amps at 240 volts. So then I have this NEMA 1450 30-foot extension cord plugged into it right now, and that's going down and around this way. That extension cord is going into this right here, which is a NEMA 1450 splitter. And so then we have 2 NEMA 1450 plugs coming up this way, and then plugged into that is an adapter that goes from a NEMA 1450 up here to 4 NEMA 520s. So these are 4 standard household outlets, and each of these can handle up to 20 amps. Now, obviously we won't be maxing out these by any stretch, but this gives us 8 outlets right here on the side of the trailer where we've set up our table, and we'll be setting up our waffle irons along here. Now, clearly these cords are overkill. I mean, this is a 50 amp extension cord, etc., but it is definitely not going to melt, and it's going to be a easy conduit to have all of these waffle irons powered from a safe source. Alternatively, this right here is from the manufacturer of the trailer, and those are 2 NEMA 515 outlets. But to channel 4 waffle irons through each of those would probably exceed the 15 amp max, and the wiring that's built into trailers typically is on the inadequate side, 14 gauge wire, and a little bit more questionable. So there's no question that this will work just fine. Right now we're at 49%, so it's going to be interesting to see how much this pulls down the battery percentage of the trailer. Now you might be wondering, what is this outlet that's right here on the left? And that is the power strip that is coming around over this way and going here to the bumper. And this right here is an extension cord that is powering our neighbor's trailer. There's a tent trailer right there. We're powering. And then the other one is our Starlink router, which I've mounted up here on the ladder temporarily because I wanted to have it transmit better to our campsite that is up over there where our fire is. And it is working great for that. I have everything set up. Nothing's plugged in yet though. I have the battery. So what I'm going to be doing is plugging in each of these one at a time, and then looking down here at the Victron monitoring portal, and I'm watching the AC loads right here. And I'm going to be making sure that nothing goes crazy. And I'm also paying attention to the L1 versus L2, which is the 2 different inverters, because neither one of these can exceed 2400 watts maximum, at least for a long period of time. They can spike over that for a little bit. So here's the first plug, 117. And that is going to jump up, to 600 watts. Oh, notice the battery is at 47% as we begin this experiment. I now have these first 4 plugged in, and you can see 2 of them are going to one inverter, that's the red dots, and then 2 are going to the other inverter, and those are the green dots. Looking down here, you can see the consumption is now at 2100 watts, and each inverter is outputting about 1000 watts. And now I have the second 4 plugged in, so all 8 of these waffle irons are plugged in at the same time. And the loads are not actually as high as I thought they would be. We're at 3300 watts. And I realized that the reason for that is because these get up to temperature relatively quickly, and then they cycle on and off to keep a temperature. So it's only the initial startup that they would all be drawing out at the same time. Okay, battery is in all 8 of them now, and you can see the power consumption jump up because the batter cools them down, so they all cycle on. And it was at 3800 watts, and now it's at 33. So we're at 2 kilowatts on L2 on the second inverter. So we're about 325 watts less than that inverter's maximum. But I have seen it spike over 3 kilowatts before temporarily, and it doesn't shut it down, but it will over the long term once it heats up. All right, so let's look at them. Yeah, that one's looking good. I think they're all ready to be taken out, yeah. These are going to be a little bit less advanced probably because these were the last ones, but they're actually looking just fine as well. I just put in new battery in all of them, so they've all just cycled on. But yeah, 3800 watts it looks like is about the maximum that they all pull together when they're running at the same time. And keep in mind right now inside we have almost nothing running pretty much nothing running. So just a little bit of vampire drain from various devices that are plugged in. Plus our neighbor's trailer is still plugged in, but I don't think they're pulling much energy right now. And our first batch turned out really good.
This one and this one has a skeleton, and this one has a pumpkin. You guys have cheetah ones?
Yeah, this is probably all the designs that this company makes. All right, we just finished our second batch, and we can see the pumpkin design here and the skull design over there. So it's working really good. What do you think, girls?
Good.
You love it?
Yeah.
Looks like we're gonna easily be able to cook up all of the batter that we need to for all of this group of people. Also, just to point out, the way that this Victron monitoring portal works on my cell phone is because my trailer's system, the Victron monitoring system, Serbo GX, is connected to the Wi-Fi, which is the Starlink Wi-Fi, and then my phone is also connected to that Wi-Fi, and that's how I'm able to get this information outside of the trailer. Just like that, we are done. I think this is batch number 6. All of the waffles are now done being cooked, and we're down to 36% on the battery. We're just getting over 100 watts of solar right now, but our electrical consumption is back down to almost nothing, and so we'll see how long this takes to charge back up today, considering all the shade we're in.
Yeah.
Sarah, what are you making?
A walk.
A colored rock. It looks great. Good job. And over here, what are you making, girls?
This is my M&M I'm waiting to dry. This is my Band-Aid.
Oh, what happened to your finger that you needed a Band-Aid?
I cut myself with a corn husk.
With a corn husk?
Yeah.
It's like a paper cut.
Yeah.
Huh. It is now 10:47 a.m. and you can see the battery's down to 22%, and we're still only getting 113 watts of solar. The battery percentage is due to we just turned on the water heater and took some showers, and so that has pulled down the battery pretty significantly since we made waffles. This is what 100 watts of solar production looks like. So just a tiny bit of sun coming through the leaves. Otherwise, the panels are pretty shaded. Also, they're pretty dirty. I haven't cleaned this for about a month, and we've been traveling a lot. So there's dust, and there's been some rainstorms and evaporation and whatnot on the panels. So that all factors into it. But basically, we're waiting for the sun here to get past the canopy above us, and it's going to be this afternoon probably before we have complete solar coverage again, and we'll see how much the batteries get recharged this afternoon once we have this large open sky on the side of us right there on the west side. That's James's dagger and Clara's sword.
You're going the wrong end. You have to hold that end.
James is loving it.
Oh no, she disarmed you.
This is the top of the rock, way down there.
Yeah, our campsite is right down in there. Oh, what a great view you have up here, kids.
We made it ourselves.
Whoa.
We used our buckets, and we have
Okay.
a fire under it. I did some of it. And also, we have a great view.
Yeah, this is the best view, huh? Look at the view of their little campsite that they made. You guys even carried water up here?
Yep. Me and Marshall.
Good job. This is the girls' hideout. They brought a chair up here. It's got shade, and it's on the side of the mountain. There's Jessica down in our campsite, and I've climbed all the way up here to this beautiful view. We're on this rocky outcropping that is right here in the middle of this campground. Over there is all the single sites of this campground. It is now noon basically, and we are getting 315 watts of solar. Clearly there's plenty of sun out here. We could move the trailer out into the sun if we wanted to, but setting up and taking down, leveling a trailer is a bit of work, so it's obviously more work than it's worth for us. Plus, one of the advantages of having a large solar array is hopefully we will recoup the loss from this morning just by the speed of charging the batteries in the afternoon once we do get solar exposure. Also, this is an example where ground mount would be better because you can have your trailer in the shade and then put the ground mount solar panels out on the ground in the sun farther away. You know, everything is a compromise when it comes to engineering and technology, and so this is the compromise we made, and generally our trailer is in the sun. This is the first time that we've had significant shade, but I'm still curious, this is an experiment, to see how quickly the batteries do charge once the solar panels are in the sun. Our Starlink connection is working fantastic. If I look down here, we've shared this with our neighbors, and we have 9 devices on our network right now. The download speed from the Starlink router is hitting 100 megabits per second, and that's very acceptable in my opinion. And it's been working great for all of the people that we have on it. Oh, look at that, jumped up to 148. It is currently 88 degrees outside and 86 degrees inside, and I just turned on the mini split because we have someone that's going to be taking a nap. So the mini split now is pulling 878 watts, and our battery's going to go down some more.
I need some more. My other
A chorus of whistles.
them a little more.
Oh, perfect, Lucy. Perfect.
Butterfly!
You having fun? Hey girls, what are you doing? Exploring the river?
There's a lot of stinging nettle.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
Whoa, we don't like the stinging nettle. You want some help, Lydia? All right, I'll help you.
I already got some by stinging nettle.
Oh, bummer. You gonna take the plunge? Oh, there you go.
Freezing.
That's the deepest anybody's been, I think.
We're gonna get out on our feet. Are gonna be so red.
Oh,
Oh my God, we did it!
good job.
Let's go!
Go.
Well, that was a good one.
Oh gosh.
All right. It is now 3 p.m. or 2:57 p.m. and the trailer is just now finally starting to produce a kilowatt of energy. It's bouncing around a bit, but you can see right there it's 933, and it was just over 1,000 watts a minute ago. And you can see we're still down at 20%. So the solar yield is just now finally getting up to an amount that will make a little bit more of a difference and charge the trailer more quickly. So this is what 1,000 watts of production looks like. The front 2 panels are completely exposed pretty much, and then these back ones are partially covered. This back one right here is on its own solar charge controller, but these 2 right there are in series, and the 2 in front are in series, which means that they have to produce at the same level together. So as soon as this shade goes away, then the solar of these front 4 panels will really skyrocket. This air mattress is too big to inflate outside of the tent. It won't fit in the tent once it's inflated. So it needs to be inflated in this tent, and the only place for this tent to fit is in this location. We could clearly disassemble the tent and try to bring it here, but look what we figured out. So his air mattress is plugged into this power strip, has a 10-foot long cord that's going here to this extension cord, and this extension cord is a 50-foot long extension cord, and we're using the entire length of it, going around this tent and around this trailer and across underneath over here, and then I have it plugged into the side of this tent trailer. And this tent trailer is being powered from its shore power cord right here. And that shore power cord is coming around underneath the truck. And their shore power cord is right here. And that's being plugged into this adapter that brings it to 120 volts. That is plugged into the NEMA 1450 Y splitter, which actually technically is unnecessary. I added it on just in case we needed the extra length, but we don't. And that is going to the NEMA 1450 plug that is a 30-foot long 50 amp RV cord, and that is going around underneath my trailer. I rerouted it underneath to get the length better, and it's coming up here onto the side of my trailer and into my NEMA 1450 outlet on the side of my trailer. So that is all the equipment that we had available, and we were able to figure it out how to power his mattress pump from way over there. This is an illustration of where a power system built into a trailer isn't as ideal as one of those mobile solar generators that people typically call them, where you can carry it somewhere else. Clearly you can overcome that with extension cords to a point, but I think having a mobile power generator solar array plugged into one of those suitcase battery backups could be helpful to have in certain situations. It is now 5:10 p.m. and clearly our trailer is completely in the sun now, and the shade is back here, so it's actually been a little while that it's been fully in the sun. The problem is this time of day the sun is already getting a low enough angle in the sky that it is not as good of a yield as it would be if it was straight overhead, and we still have some patchy clouds. Our trailer is not going to get fully charged today by any stretch. Being 5:11 p.m. the battery is only at 42%, and we're only getting a little bit of solar, but that's because the clouds are covering the sun right now. In any case, I mean, this is still going to gain a few more percentage throughout the rest of the afternoon into the evening, but we're not going to be able to use the air conditioning a whole lot this evening, perhaps. We'll see how it works out, but we'll probably use it when we initially go to bed because it will be hot in the trailer. Now, for what it's worth, luckily, the event that we're part of with all of these friends, we are taking turns as a group providing meals for the whole group. So we're actually not doing a whole lot of food preparation here in our trailer, and so our power demands are pretty low right now. Air conditioning is probably the #1 demand that we are doing without right now because of the lack of solar. So right now the temperature in here is 100.6 degrees inside and 96 degrees outside. So if we had the normal amount of solar exposure that we have, we would just be leaving the air conditioning on in the trailer, but right now we're just leaving it off. So it's warm, but it's okay because we're hanging out with our friends over under the trees in various places as we play around here. With 11 devices on the network, we go into the statistics and go down to throughput. Our download speed is jumping around, but it's around 20 megabits per second, 25, and our upload is 0.7, thereabouts. So it moves around a lot. There's some people watching streaming video right now, but that's just kind of interesting to see with that many devices how much bandwidth we're consuming. It is now 6:46 p.m. and the battery got up to 52%, and you can see it's having a little bit of energy withdrawn from it. Our solar is down to 188. So basically we're done for the day on solar. That's what we got today. Definitely the shading of the trees limited our solar production dramatically, which is to be expected. Right next to our campsite was an amphitheater that is part of the campground, and the kids put together this play completely on their own.
So I'm going to ask your parents what are the 3 first letters of the alphabet. Oh man, what is this person doing on the ground? Bring up, Batman! Everybody go out and bow. Bow!
Right now it's 7 p.m. and we're putting James to bed. He's exhausted after a day of adventure in the dirt. And so I just turned on the mini split set to 68 degrees. Inside it's currently 96. It is now 10 p.m. and the battery's down to 34%. I'm going to leave the mini split on at 68 degrees for the rest of the night, and we'll see what this is in the morning. I love making beautiful time-lapse videos like this, especially when the clouds are doing interesting things and during colorful sunsets, both of which occurred tonight. I tried to leave the time-lapse going as long as possible so as to capture the stars, and sometimes I leave the camera going all night. In this case, there were too many other people around in this campground, so I didn't want to leave my camera unattended. However, I still got this beautiful time-lapse. I'll repeat it again at the end of this video so you can see it more slowly if you're interested. It is now the next morning. How did you sleep, Clara? Good. I had the mini split on all night, set to 70 degrees. You can see the battery this morning is at 9%. The battery was down to 14% on the trailer when I turned off the mini split this morning around 5 a.m. It was 80 degrees outside the entire night pretty much. But regardless, we're not going to be getting a whole lot of solar today. Based on what we got yesterday, we got about 32% throughout the day, and most of it was just these 3 hours right there. So I'm going to keep monitoring the situation and see how it goes. Clara's working on starting a fire using flint and steel.
I don't like.
You're making sparks, you got to push harder and longer. I believe in you. Almost there. Oh yeah, you got some smoke. Oh, nice.
Did you burn yourself? like I did. I did too.
Alright, Lucy just got it. Good job, Lucy. Okay, now we're gonna light the real fire. Lucy has the fire fast, and she just scraped some metal here onto the bark.
Oh yeah, try putting it in the bark. I almost got it. I saw a little tiny flame.
Yeah, you did.
First try.
It is now 9:34 a.m. and the battery has bottomed out at 6% and is now finally slightly charging. So this is probably the bottom that it will get today. We're getting 264 watts of solar. Jesse and I debated on what we wanted to do about the lack of solar exposure here. And neither one of us really felt strongly either way. But obviously our two major options are to limit our electrical consumption and just leave the trailer here, or to pack up the trailer and pull it across the parking lot, like, 50 feet in front of it, and then it'll be fully exposed all day and the battery would fully charge today, easily. Ultimately, we just decided just leave it where it is and we'll just limit our power consumption. So mainly we're just not going to use very much air conditioning, which we've already not been using very much of. But the battery has been declining more and more each day. But today is our last full day. We're going to be staying here one more night, and then tomorrow we're going home. And so we're just going to try to limit our electrical consumption as much as possible, leaving off the water heater, for instance, as well, and the air conditioning. And then this evening when we go to bed, we'll use it for a little bit to cool down the trailer as we go to bed, and then we'll have to turn it off at some point. And by the time tomorrow comes around, it'll be about as low as it is now. And then at that point, we'll pack it up and drive home. Hey, Lucy, where are we headed?
We are going to the Oak Creek Park.
Oak City Park. That's right. So we're just going on a short 10-minute drive. Don't fall, Clara.
Feels like she's ready to jump.
Yeah, she's gonna launch. Lucy's gonna ride the one wheel. Look at her go. Go, Lucy. Good job. Keep going. Great job, Lucy. Good job helping, Lucy.
But we're doing
This is a fun swing.
We're doing it.
Hey, James. He loves it. Hey, Lydia. You having fun? How about you, Lucy?
James in this? I want to do it with James.
Okay. Excited?
Whee!
We came over here to Delta, Utah, where they have a splash pad. It's really hot right now, so this is awesome. Lucy, why are you so wet?
Because I got wet.
We gassed up here at the Maverick in Delta, Utah, and we're at $71 for 18.2 gallons. Back here at the trailer, it is 101 degrees inside and it's 97 degrees outside. If you're hearing a loud humming noise, we had some new neighbors move in and they are using an incredibly loud generator that's just reverberating throughout the whole valley. It's a lot different than boondocking here, I will say. It is now 3:17 in the afternoon. So over here on the screen, you can see we're now up to 12%, which obviously it's been very low for a long time, way longer than normal. We are charging at a kilowatt though. We're getting 1400 watts of solar and we have 227 watts of power consumption, which is the Starlink dish, which is only about 45 watts, I think. And then we have a chunk of it going here to charging the one wheel. And then coming out here, I still have this, our neighbor's tent trailer right here. And then on the other side is this extension cord. So basically we're using their trailer as an extension to our extension cord. And this one is coming along and then it is powering this plug, which is what I call my Medusa. It has 8 USB cords coming out of it and it's charging a pile of phones right here. And it's also powering my laptop. So it's working pretty good for us. It is now 4 p.m. and we're finally up to 19% is all. And we've seen the solar up as high as 1800 watts, which it was just a moment ago, but it's intermittently cloudy, which I can show you here. And so the solar production is not as consistently good as it typically is here in Utah. So that patchy clouds, we're going to get less solar in this precious time of day that we were barely getting any to begin with. But really when it comes down to it, we have enough energy to power our most essential loads, which would be fridge is the most important because there's things in there that would spoil if the fridge lost power. And then secondly, after that probably would be our electronic devices like our phones and Starlink, internet, and things like that. Obviously those things are not essential, but as far as our priorities are concerned, those are next. And also for what it's worth, they don't use very much energy, so it's easy to prioritize them over the air conditioning as an example. It's pretty hot here. We've definitely sweated more on this trip than most of our trips in the past, including hotter ones that we've done in hotter places, and that's simply because our trailer is parked in the shade. Obviously we could have moved it into the sun, but we just felt like we're hanging out outside of the trailer anyway with our friends. We're not hanging out in the trailer, and if the AC was running, we wouldn't be here anyway. It's just a little bit of a luxury, I guess, to come back to a cool trailer when we do, or when we go to bed tonight. So yeah, it's okay. It's just this is more normal than our normal. But for RVs out there that typically don't have air conditioning, if you don't have a generator running, then that's kind of how we are at the moment. It's now 5:16 p.m. and it looks like 23% is as high as this is going to get today. We're just barely getting 300 watts of solar, so we're actually starting to withdraw from the battery now. This is the lowest amount of energy that we've had going into the evening, probably of any of our camping trips. But considering the circumstances, I'm not surprised. And this will be enough to power our essential loads, like I said, the refrigerator and the freezer and Starlink and charging devices and whatnot. So we'll be fine. We are now making our ice cream off the trailer's electricity. So Jessica's now pouring in the ice cream mixture. And then of course we'll be moving that into this barrel, putting ice and salt in it, putting the lid on it. Most of you probably are familiar with this general process. So what I'm going to be doing is obviously tracking how much electricity it takes to do this off of the trailer. We brought our ice cream from our trailer all the way up here, and so I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, and we're going to look at the kilowatt meter and see how much electricity this is pulling. And it's pulling, looks like 56 watts. But the wattage that it's pulling will increase as the ice cream gets thicker in here and causes more resistance on the motor. Okay, so here you can hear this squeaking. That means it's just about to be done. And also it's showing 72 watts of power consumption. So you can see the ice cream inside is piling up on the paddle. Oh, there it is. I saw 76 there just before it stopped. And now it's maxing out at 84, and so I just turned it off. So that consumed a total of 0.04 kilowatt hours, and that took 44 minutes. All right, here is the finished product. It looks like it's gotten nice and thick. You excited? All right.
Looks good.
Thanks.
It looks like vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, it is vanilla ice cream.
Yummy.
Lucy, did you put anything in your ice cream? Got some Oreos in there. How is it? Love it? All right. We're serving it up to everybody now. James saw the other kids going up this trail, and so he really wanted to join them. So I'm showing him how to climb up a steep hill. And as soon as I got out my camera, he starts scooching on his butt. Want to keep going? He has walked up this whole trail all by himself. I mean, I'm holding his hand, but he's been carrying his own weight. There we go. Good job. We're going to go to the lookout point where the other kids are watching the sunset. Should we keep going? Oh, he just found dirt. That's all he wanted. Should we keep going, James? James is still going up the trail, and you can get a little peek of the sunset happening right over there, so let's go check it out. Oh, look at this view. All right, this is beautiful. Let's go up to the peak of this. You love it? Yeah. He's like, whoa, look at that view. There's kids already up there. Hey guys. James, you made it. He has literally hiked he has literally hiked his whole way up here. I did not carry him once. I just held his hand. And we're gonna go out across these rocks so he can get a better view of this beautiful sunset happening right now. James made it to the top. Look, James, he made it to the top. Yay! We have a beautiful sunset behind us. And now we're gonna go back to camp and put him to bed.
Hi.
Hi. And I saw Lydia's coming too. Hey.
Oh,
And a lot of other friends. There's the last of the sunset. And it's beautiful. James is loving this. He's just dying to rock climb. At every moment, he's like, doesn't want me to carry him. Clara is Clara is helping James to navigate this crazy little rock section we have to get up right there. Whoa! Hold both his hands if you have to. It is now 8:50 p.m. and the battery's down to 17%. And right now we're withdrawing 246 watts out of it. A lot of that's DC because I have all the fans going, as you can hear. The 62 watts is the only AC loads. And I am putting James to bed. It's kind of late for him, but I'm getting him to bed now. And I have set up a fan right here that's clipped to this table, and it is being powered by my Medusa over here that is being powered by the AC circuits. So hopefully he'll be cool enough tonight with the fan on overhead blowing down on him, as well as one in the bathroom sucking air in, and we have all the windows and doors open. But yeah, the inside temperature right now is 80 degrees, which isn't terrible, especially with lots of moving air, and it's 78 outside, so it's pretty close to the same. But we definitely don't have enough battery to run the air conditioning tonight, and that's kind of a new one for us, so we're going to try this out. Say goodnight, James. All right, we'll see you in the morning. Also, I left the baby monitor in his crib this time, which we don't normally do, but I wanted to get a clearer shot of him. The problem is when it's in hand reach of him, he tends to do this. Picks it up and plays with it until he goes to sleep, that is. So we can still hear him, it's just you never know what you're going to end up seeing when he's done playing with it. It is now 7 a.m. the next morning, and so the big question is, what's the verdict of how did the electrical system go, considering we went to bed with it being so low state of charge already. So this morning it is 2%, and you can see we're now getting 24 watts of solar, and the refrigerator's turned off, and the inverter is off, and so it's actually starting to charge just ever so little bit at 8 watts. So last night I left the inverters on, and Starlink, and the noisemaker. So that was consuming roughly 1% per hour throughout the night. In any case, at about 5:45 this morning, the Servo GX was beeping due to an alarm that was going off because the battery got to 3%. And it turned off the inverters automatically at that point. So Starlink went offline and the noisemaker turned off as well, which is all fine. We need to make sure we have some extra energy to bring in the slide out and bring up the stabilizers and things like that. It is indicating 70 degrees inside and 67 outside, but yesterday morning it was 80 degrees Fahrenheit outside, so it's much cooler. Clearly, of the last couple of nights, last night was the best night to have not had enough power to run our air conditioning in the evening and into the night, because we had that rainstorm roll through and it really cooled things down pretty dramatically yesterday evening. This morning, Jessica and I were discussing what would we do differently if we had the advantage of hindsight and we could go back to Thursday. And we probably would have just parked the trailer across the way. This parking lot right here, there's some space behind us. And we think we probably would have been able to just camp there just fine. I don't think the camp host would have balked at that, because right now there's a new group of campers just next to us, and they have 3 vehicles across the parking lot from their campsite, and one of them has a rooftop tent camper, and they're there, and he hasn't bothered them. So we probably could have done that, and then our trailer would have been in the sun, and it would have been fully charged every day, just like normally when we're camping. So it would have been actually cooler in our trailer, despite the shade not being in shade, because we could have run the mini split. The disadvantage of that, of course, we would have had to drive or walk back and forth across this gravel road each time we wanted to go to our trailer. Our trailer would have been farther away, etc. In any case, I don't mind having done it this way, this trip, because I was really curious to see what it would be like to camp with a significant canopy over us. And now we know. We've been here from Thursday afternoon all the way till now it's Sunday morning. So that's a good several days to see what it's like from day in and day out. And I think yesterday was the most telling day, where we began the day at a really low state of charge, but we only gained charge enough to get up into the 20s by the end of the day. So really poor production for sure. And in our normal camping
shade is not really much of a problem, but in parts of the country where it is, then that's definitely a consideration in those cases. And if we, or when in the future, hopefully we'll someday go camping in places with more trees, and we'll probably take a generator with us in that case on those trips, just as backup in case our solar is not sufficient.
It is now 8:45 a.m. and we're packed up and we're about to leave. And the battery has actually gone up to 3% now. We're still just getting the tiniest little bit of solar. That is what we've been seeing the last couple of days, is all we get this time of day until like 3 p.m. It barely increases at all. In any case, we've been able to actuate the slide mechanism, the jack, the stabilizers, etc. So we have all the electricity that we've needed, and we're about to drive away and we'll head home. Oh, and also regarding the water, it still indicates 2/3 full. I'm guessing it's probably closer to half, but we've been here for, see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so about 3.5 days, and we've used about 1/3 of the tank. What did you think of the trip, kids?
Wonderful.
Yes? What was your favorite part?
The point when we went to the park and splash pad. I liked everything.
So Lucy liked the spark and the splash pad. Lydia liked everything. Clara, what did you like the most?
I liked everything.
Oh, everything again. Okay, so we're going to be driving for about 2 hours once again to get home, and we'll show you the route along the way. We're at a local Maverick to empty our tanks, and then we'll head home. I've just gassed up at our local Costco here, and the total came to $65 for 17 gallons. And that's at $3.82 a gallon for 85. And just like that, we're back home. The trailer battery got up to 21% while we were driving, so that gained 18%. Because keep in mind, when we drove there, it went from about 5% to 50% over the course of the same drive. It was very overcast most of the time that we were driving, so that's one reason why this didn't charge nearly as much as it could have. And you can see right here, it's jumping up and down because of those clouds. And as a point of reference, it's 11 a.m. That's the advantage of rooftop solar panels, is that it will charge while you're driving. In summary, our trailer was obviously a great asset to us. It's very comfortable, and it's a great thing to have when you're going on camping trips. In this case, obviously the power system struggled more than it has actually on any trip we've ever gone on previously, but we've also never parked right under a canopy of trees. So it was a continuation of the experiment that is this whole trailer and our use of it, and I like to try it in varied circumstances so that I know better what to expect in the future if we're ever in a situation where we're in that much shade and maybe we have no sun options at all. We could have moved the trailer into a sunnier spot, but in the future, what if we don't have any sunny spots available? Now I know that we'll probably have to take a generator with us if we ever go to places where the canopy is just expected to be thick and tall everywhere, and would potentially have to get alternative sources than the solar. One other thing though is if we travel, then when you get out on the road, it's much more likely you'll have sun available. It's only when you're in a really shaded spot for several days, and then it also depends on what you're doing and how much energy you're using for varied purposes. We made all those waffles as an example. If we arrived at a location with a full battery on our trailer, and we knew we were going to be there for a few days and we knew it was going to be in the shade, then would act more like we're not going to get any new power, because we're not going to get much new power in that case, and we would be much more judicious and careful with our electrical consumption, and it would take a couple of days for that power consumption to deplete and the battery to empty, and then would at that point need to pack up and go to the new location so that the batteries can charge up while we're driving. I'm talking about if we were in a location where every single campsite was very shaded, and honestly, just here in Utah where we live, it's not a concern, so it's not a big deal. But I make these videos just to illustrate, in case you're interested, how well the system is working for us in all these varied circumstances. So with that, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.